Your elemental power is green.
What's that?
Green.
Okay, so just to recap. Fire, ice, water, earth, lightning, and...
Green.
Don't think it's an element, though.
Always eat the one you love.
So with both of the green gangs, there is a sickness or rotting quality to them, which is very fitting considering that green as a color is often used to represent both sickness and rot, such as zombies being depicted as green or one of the sick emojis being green. When someone is sick or something is rotting, you have to get rid of it or else everyone and everything is at risk of being infected. Choosing to ignore the problem is a surefire way to make you either regress or stagnate. And that's where the green gangs come in. Either they're rotting the community around them or they're rotting themselves from the inside. And for both, it prevents progress because the leaders of both gangs are so self-interested and arrogant that they don't know how to deal with the boss, who is an unstoppable force of chaos they have never had to deal with before. The boss is someone that shakes their pedestals in ways they've never experienced because they only know how to deal with convention, because everyone they've ever dealt with deals with convention, so it makes it easier to overpower them with brute force and brutality. Not the boss though, because whatever level of unconventionality that they bring to the table can be overshadowed by the boss, and this is mainly because of how different their forms of leadership are. Both Killbane and the General are kings of absolute power that lend off their dirty work to their subordinates. The boss, on the other hand, is the one in charge, but the other lieutenants of the Saints are like a council offering advice on how to deal with problems. Think of it this way. The council tells the boss where the finish line is, but the boss can still choose how to get there. They can tell them about shortcuts and back doors, but the boss will still choose which one they go through, but they only perform that well because they listen to their council. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, the one on the top shelf. So let me ask you a question. If you can't reach it, or you expect me to reach it?
When it comes to the Somnies green, it is 100% a representation of their mascot drug. Okay, yeah, Loa dust is angel dust, but the best color that can represent angel dust is white. But white dust is already the international symbol of cocaine.
I don't do cocaine!
He doesn't even know what it looks like.
I don't know what it looks like!
The green also represents materialism, greed, and stagnation, but for the Somni, it also represents sickness. All of the gangs contribute to Stillwater basically losing its saturation, but the Somni contribute in a way that affects people physically. Yes, technically all the models in Saints Row 2 look like that, but you know what I mean. Turning them into addicts for Loa dust. The Somni's presence in Stillwater is that of a plague. Addiction is very much a sickness, and despite the heavy stigma surrounding it and how everyone and their mama thinks they're immune to addiction, addiction is very much in the same boat as disability and cults. It can happen to anyone. And just like disability and cults, recovery is hard. Now imagine recovery in a place like Stillwater.
I'm so happy because I'm a gummy bear, gummy bear.
In terms of materialism and greed, this mainly lies with the General. I've said it before, but a lot of the gangs leech off of the communities they're based in, and the Sons of Somnies are no different. It's even stated that the reason the Somni are here in Stillwater are because they're basically branching out after dominating the Caribbean underworld. With his name being the General and the gang having Haitian origin, he is a character that very much brings to mind corruption in Haiti. Haiti is one of those countries in the global south where many people and governments feed off of the misery of the people, whether it's from outside forces or members of the community just wanting to be kings of the ashes. The General is one of them. Green on the Sons of Somni also represents harmony. Now that may sound odd until you add Mr. Sunshine to the mix. Despite the Saints ruining things for them, Mr. Sunshine finds peace and harmony in the destruction. Honestly, in every scene, he's just a chill guy. Don't think about the murdering. Even when he's dying, he maintains his cool demeanor, almost like he's above everything happening, even death. Wait, did he know he wasn't real? Oh my god. What if he knew he wasn't real?
Be humble. You think I'm a bitch, bro.
Why does that make you a bitch?
Like the Somni, the Luchadors' green represents greed and materialism. Since the only member of the Luchadors that matters is Killbane, most of the symbolism of green is connected to him. As such, we have aspects like envy and stagnation. I talked about stagnation in my video about the Heathers and their skirts in reference to Heather Duke. Killbane's control over the Luchadors and then later the Syndicate is a status quo he needs constantly upheld. The status quo being that Killbane is the best, all hell Killbane. Which brings us to envy, specifically Killbane's envy of Angel's talents and rising popularity, which led him to lashing out at Angel and unmasking him. Something that is basically akin to being decapitated in Lucha Libre. I actually don't know how true that is, but I heard it on Lucha Underground years ago and I liked it. We see this same envy later pointed at the boss when they start becoming more famous than Killbane. Unfortunately, where it was easy for Killbane to get rid of Angel due to Angel being the convention that Killbane is dismantling, it was not the same for the boss. The stagnation doesn't just mean an upheld status quo, it also means that Killbane does not evolve. So whereas Angel implies he's been training and where the boss is also shown to be training to take on Killbane, Killbane just assumes that he will come out on top without putting any effort in. Even when trying to defame the Saints, it's not Killbane's work, it's Matt and the Deckers doing most of the heavy lifting. So it ends up being Matt and the Deckers being targeted and then disbanded. He instructs the rest of the syndicate to do something about the Saints and only gets mad at the twins because their plan failed. But did Killbane have an idea of his own? And let's be real, the twins' plan would have worked if the boss was not there because Pierce did not see Homegirl pick up that gun. Honestly, it's all kind of funny when you think about it because Killbane is kind of like Hulk Hogan, which makes it ironic that they casted Hogan as Angel. Low-key, I think that's one of the reasons I didn't like Angel. That and him not picking up the phone because you had the audacity to save Shaundi instead of chasing after Killbane. I knew Shaundi first, buddy. I don't have to sweeten my delivery to make it work for Angel. I mean, who is Angel? With both the Luchadors and the Somni, their greens are both more insidious and infectious. Kind of like a festering wound where it was only a matter of time before it got fatal, and by the time it did, both gangs did not have a way to combat it. It perfectly captures both gangs in a way that no other color really would have. But that's it for now. I've been Miss Hexley, and I'll see you soon.